Hey guys, this is Skylar from Gmod. I'm here with Mark Norris, the producer on League of Legends Dominion. We're very excited. This is an amazing fan base here. Of all the games here at PAX this year, I think this has the most nuts, the most riot, right, crowd. They have like lines going around the side. You can really get into this thing. So, amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Obviously, everyone's very excited. Obviously, you're excited.
Yeah.
So how does this really change the game for you guys?
I think it changes the game for everyone, to be honest with you. What we really wanted to do with League of Legends Dominion is to evolve the genre. And when we were determining exactly what that would look like and how that should be, we sort of eliminated a lot of game modes. We took a look at like capture the flag mechanics, and we took a look at maybe team deathmatch mechanics, and we said, honestly, to evolve the genre, we really think a capture and hold map would work well. So that's sort of the basis of where we started evaluating what we were going to do at Dominion.
Yeah, okay. So I know you guys do an amazing amount of, you guys do balancing like it should be done, right? On a regular basis. Does this change the balancing act? Is it hard to balance players when you have a different dynamic?
Balancing is always hard, no matter how many champions you have, no matter how many game modes you have. Balance is always an issue. That being said, we have two special ways that we're going to do champion balance on Dominion. The first is we have a map or a buff on the map called the Crystal Scar Aura, and we're constantly tweaking that buff right now so that we can ensure that it's the exact buff that we want, so that any champions that are a little overpowered on the map, we buff maybe armor with this Crystal Scar Aura, this map-wide buffs, to make sure that, you know, like those champions aren't doing as much damage. And that's one of the reasons we're not yet ready to release Dominion, is because we're constantly messing with that buff to make sure we are getting that balance. The second way that we're balancing champions on Dominion is through itemization. In the item store, you will see there are Dominion-specific items that you can buy, and that's a direct response to, hey, this type of champion's playing a little too easier. Hey, this champion needs a little more power. So we're specifically dealing with balance in those two ways.
So the buffs, these are, let's say, passive buffs, are they all the time? Or the buffs you have to go kill something to get?
Yeah, so the Crystal Score Aura buff is a passive buff. You get it immediately upon entering the map.
Okay.
We also have 3 different types of buffs that are found on the map themselves, as well as a quest buff. So the three buffs that are on the map, of course, are the speed shrines that help you get across the map. We've also put health packs on the map so you can be strategic and tactical in terms of where you're going to fight to get health. And then the third one is the giant center relic that allows you to grow larger as a champion. It gives you a regenerating shield, and it has you do lightning on your attacks. And it allows you to be Battlestar Cho'Gath if you get 6 feeds and the center buff. You become gigantic Battlestar Cho'Gath. So
that sounds pretty badass, I gotta admit.
Yeah.
So so the buffs, are the debuffs as well, or is it?
No debuffs.
No debuffs. Okay, good.
Yeah. Well, okay, that's not true. On the Crystal Score Aura right now, one of the things we noticed is that healers were extremely good. Any of those support classes with healing mechanics, they were really good. So we have a map-wide minus 20% to healing. But that's current, right? We haven't released Dominion yet, and we are constantly playing with this buff. So I don't know whether or not, to be honest with you, whether or not that number will be 15% minus or 10% minus or stay where it is.
Yeah.
We're going to continue to evaluate until we release Dominion.
Absolutely. So you guys obviously spent a lot of time on your maps. You've only had 2 maps out so far on the history of the game. Dominion's obviously a big step forward.
Sure.
Do you see yourself having more maps on a more regular basis, or are you going to continue to hold up for a year or 2 before putting each map out?
The real question is, what do the players want, right? So we evaluated what the players were saying that they wanted, and we started taking a look at different maps, right? But it's always a little weird with maps, because you have this map and people know it and they understand it. It's like football, right?
Right, yeah.
Football gets played on a rectangle. That's how it works, right? What happens if we make the football field a circle? I don't know, right? So when we were determining a new map mode, we said, what if, to give the players the maximum amount of value, we actually gave them a new game mode? And that was the genesis of Dominion, was how can we give players more value? More maps, right? But the real answer is, if we give them a brand new game mode, if we give them pie that they can eat with their cake, that's even better.
Absolutely. So when you guys look at other, a lot of games out there coming out that are focused on the Dota model, Dota 2 coming out from Valve, right? The Smite we saw today, this weekend for this time, it's a more third-person view. A lot of games out there. What do you think about those games? Obviously, it's great to see that there's that much demand out there. What's your feedback on that?
Well, the feedback is it's fantastic that other people are coming into the MOBA arena, right? a multiplayer online battle arena is a game mode that or a game genre that we want people to recognize as one of the big genres in video gaming, and especially in terms of esports, right? I like to tell people, hey, with Season 2 of League of Legends, we're going to give you 5.5 million reasons to play. So that's surprisable for Season 2, and we really believe like that's a fantastic example of where the MOBA genre is heading.
Absolutely. So do you see you guys, so right now you guys have PC support, no Mac support yet, you guys, so you're going to do that a while ago?
Yeah.
Where's that currently at?
We're taking a look at it. It's not as easy as it might think, hey, we'll just make a Mac client. There's a lot of ramifications to go into that, but we are looking into it.
You guys partnered with Trans Gaming, was it a year and a half ago?
I'm sorry?
Trans Gaming is partnered a while back. Are you still working with them, or did you pull back into yourself now? What's the current state of that?
We're always evaluating partnerships as we go along. You know, we're constantly looking at partners. We're evaluating current partner relationships. So while we don't have anything new to announce on that front, we're definitely still continuing, to work with partners for sure. Yeah.
So early this year, for those who don't know this, so Tencent was an early investor, and Tencent's they're the second or third biggest worldwide internet company, and in China they're massive. I was actually in Shanghai recently for China Joy. Yeah, and while I was there, I was actually able to check out the website, and I had somebody translate it for me. And one thing I thought was interesting is that they actually had a link to a third party. There's a free software you could get that will allow you to reskin your characters on the client side at no cost. Just to reskin them. I don't know if that's a China-only thing. Are you guys thinking about allowing mod support of any kind on the client side only? Is that working the model? Does it scare you guys? How do you feel about that?
No, well, I mean, Tencent's going to be doing a lot of different things, right? Tencent's their own company. While they certainly invest in us, and while we have a fantastic relationship with Tencent, what they're doing over there doesn't necessarily equate with the things that we're going to be doing with the League of Legends service. So, I mean, in all honesty, while we enjoy our partnership with them, Tencent didn't have anything to do with Dominion in terms of like what Dominion's going to look like, or how it was going to take shape, or things like that. They don't really get into the design decisions. The relationship with Tencent is basically, hey, we really like you guys, we believe in your product, and we want to be a part of your success. So, yeah, we always talk with Tencent, and we're certainly, constantly in business meetings with them to discuss their initiatives, talk about what we're doing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to cross that giant pond with any of those things. So
while I was over there, I saw a lot of really cool games that I don't think are, well, definitely on the US right now, and I don't know if they're making plans yet. I heard things earlier on, you guys were going to become more of a publisher in a way, to support other games as well. Is that in the works? Can you talk about that at all?
Well, I mean, it's just like when we were talking a little bit ago about partners and partnerships, right? We're constantly going to evaluate what's out there on the market. We're constantly going to be looking at, hey, what other things are modders doing? What other things, are independent game developers doing? And sort of evaluate, sort of look at those ideas and figure out, what should we be doing next, right? So we're definitely not sitting here and just resting on our laurels. All that being said, League of Legends is our main SKU, and it's going to be our main SKU for a long time.
Oh, yeah, certainly, absolutely. So very, very exciting. Do you, any possibility of this being on a console in the future or a mobile device?
We've taken a look into that. There's some real challenges with putting a game like this on the console. I was just recently at Sony Online Entertainment before coming to Riot, and putting a game on the PS3 that's an MMO, that's a challenge. There's some control scheme changes and everything else. So while we definitely take a look at things like that, certainly in the near future we're not doing that, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to do it at some point in the future. It just means there are a giant number of hurdles that we would have to overcome in order to do that.
Certainly. So obviously, this being a spawn of Dota and Dota being a mod, right? Do you guys, as you mentioned earlier on, you look at the mods that are out there, what things are happening out there in the market, and kind of respond to that a little bit. Are there any mods you're seeing out there right now that you guys are excited about?
There's a number. Like every day there are new mods that come out that we're like, hey, have you seen this? Hey, are you taking a look at that? Look, Riot is a company of gamers. Like literally, we spin around, like we have designers who play the game 12 to 15 hours a day. Somebody asked me the other day, what do you think about your designers playing 12 to 15 hours a day? I was like, my first thought is we got to get new designers. But the real answer to that is the only way our designers can be good at what they do is to play our game. But they also have 3 rules, right? Their first rule is they play our own game. The second rule is they watch other people play our game. And the third rule is they play everyone else's games. So constantly there are email threads about, hey, did you see this? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Well, I won't go into any specifics. I can tell you we definitely look at a couple of them right now.
That's excellent. So from the mod community, from Gmod,
yeah.
We really, everyone that I know loves LOL.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate what's out there.
Right.
We're working on a client right now to support multiple games.
Right.
We like to talk to you guys about some skins possibly in the future.
Sure.
But the model you guys have with the business model, you guys are very, probably the best example of it free-to-play done right.
Right, I agree with you. Yeah.
Do you see extending that model in any ways to allow third-party developers to make content as well, modders, this kind of thing?
But again, that gets back to the partnership question, right?
Right.
If it makes sense for our players, and if our players are asking for things like that, we're definitely going to take a look into how we can do that. But the real answer is, does it benefit the players? Because if the players make Riot.
Right.
We're all players at Riot, and
Right.
the community and the players. Without those guys, we don't have a company. We don't have a game. So if those guys think that something like that would work out well, and they respond favorably to that, that's something we could definitely look into.
So in Dominion, what's your favorite part about it, as far as the emotional appeal, the thing that really grabs at you?
Yeah.
The times that, and when you're playing a 2v2 versus, or a 3v3 versus a 5v5,
Yeah.
different parts. 3v3 is really aggressive. The entire time was always aggressive. High fives, a little more strategy on getting the lanes down. What is Dominion? How do you describe Dominion emotionally?
Dominion is only heroic moments. One of the major things that we wanted to take a look at with Dominion was, what are the great parts about classic League of Legends gameplay? What are the great parts about Summoner's Rift? And honestly, the best part is champions fighting one another. Like, no better part than when 2 champions or 3 champions or 4 champions mix it up. And in Summoner's Rift, that might not happen for 15 minutes. But if that's not happening in the first 30 seconds of Dominion, you are doing something wrong.
Well, we are really excited. I really appreciate you talking to us today.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So we're going to follow up later on.
Yeah.
I'm moving to a podcast in the future.
Excellent. Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.